All right, guys, we're going to jump into Monday morning. Let's go. Let's kick the week off.
Taking the day, I am taking the day. Taking the day.
All right, so let's jump right in. After last week's post, several of you reached out to me via text, phone calls, somebody came by the house and talked about last week's post about taking that next step specifically. So, and y'all, I want you to bear with me today because I'm gonna talk real slow because I need to say several things. The first thing that I want to say is everybody has a story. And I'm going to tell you mine before it's over with. Like, I'm going to give you my whole story for the week. But the first thing I want you to know is that everybody has a story. And by saying, because I don't want you to feel like I cheapened whatever your story is. Just because I'm excitedly saying, take the next step, it doesn't mean that next step may not come at a cost. Like, I need to minister this thing to you because I don't know what your starting point really is. For some, the next step is starting over after hurt and failure. Whether it is a relationship, a business opportunity, another venture in your life, it comes after failure, after hurt, and after disappointment. And the truth is, we live our life based on our experiences. Also, if I experience this at work, then I assume that this is the way that it is across the board. And that may not necessarily be true, but until you have a different experience, then that's kind of what you know, right? So I don't want to diminish if you've been in a relationship and that relationship failed and it was horrible. What if your last 3 relationships failed and they were horrible? And I'm saying, start again. Take a next step in meeting someone, in dating someone, and opening yourself up to having another relationship. That's what I could be saying to you. And you're at home saying, no, so you don't understand what I'm saying. See, the last one slapped me around. I'm not cheapening that. I'm not diminishing your experience. If you started a business and your business failed, you lost all your money, your credibility, your reputation was lost as a result of the venture. I'm not diminishing that experience at all. But what I want you to know is that's common. The common thread amongst all of us is that we all have a story. For some of us, we're starting a new venture. What if you are starting something that you've never undertaken before and you are frightened of it? It's completely different than anything you've ever known. And sometimes when we start doing things that people don't understand, people think you crazy. Because a lot of folks only understand a 9 to 5. Or they understand what's common and traditional. And when you start to move in uncommon ways and in non-traditional ways, people will give you a complete side eye. Because it's not considered normal. Or it's not, they think it's not smart. Or any of the other myriad of things people will say about a choice that you're making. And you're choosing to say, I'm going to step out in what I want for my life. That can make you very afraid. And I don't want to miss that it's huge. But here's what I need you to do in order to take the next step. I need you to accept where you are. That's the first thing I need you to do. Accept where you are. Accept your story. Accept that it happened. Accept that you're hurt or you're disappointed. Accept that you're afraid. Accept this is where I am. Accept it. Okay, this is where I am. And then accept this is, and it could also be, this is what I want. Because sometimes there's shame in wanting the things that we want. Who am I to want this? Who am I to think I should do this? What will people say if I, there's a little bit of shame wrapped up in that. Accept that you want it, and it's okay that you want it. No shame. I want this. This is what I want for my life, and I'm going to go after it. Or I don't want this for my life, because people have a strange way of putting you in a box, of saying you need to be a certain kind of way. I am so appreciative that I have a circle of female friends that are not ashamed to say, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I also have goals and dreams for myself. Because often as a wife and a mother, society can kind of make you feel like you're wrong as a woman to want things for yourself. Like the only thing you should ever want is, once you got a man and a child, you shouldn't want nothing else. Who said that? I still have my own personal goals and dreams, but people won't say that out loud. They'll say that in another conversation, like, you don't cook for your kids, or you didn't do this for your kids, or your husband, blah, blah, blah. It's some little slick little comment like that. That kind of condemns your choice to say, I want to do something different. I don't want to come home and cook every day. Now, I actually cook almost most days, but I don't judge you if you don't. That's a choice that I've made for my life. But for my friends that don't, I have one girlfriend that says, I'm not wasting my time on that. I'm going to pay somebody else to do that, and I'm going to use my time to live my dream. Hats off. As soon as my wallet catch up to the dream, I promise I'm with you, baby. We're going to have a shift too around here. If it's something that you don't want for your life, there can be fear. You have to accept that I don't want to be another person's version of who you think I should be. I'm not going to live my life being the person you want me to be. I'm going to live my life being the person I want to be. Free will. That is a part of accepting where you are, what you want, what you don't want. Once you get comfortable with that, the next thing I want you to do is focus your energy into in making that concrete step. What is the concrete step? Now, I'm using the term concrete for a reason. I'm using that term because it should be a solid step that when you have made a decision that this is the right step for me, should bring a sense of peace and relief to your life. You should feel it on the inside. You should feel a sense of relief. That once you make the decision, you should okay, well, the decision's been made. How am I going to do it now? I'm going to move forward. How am I going to do it? This is the way I'm going to do it. Let me research the best way to do it. And you start moving forward in that, and it should bring relief. If you still feel strong fear and resist, and I mean strong, I'm not talking about the nervous kind of fear, like, oh, I'm about to do this, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not talking about that kind of fear, because you may still have a little bit of butterflies. I'm talking about the paralyzing kind of fear, like, I don't know if I could do, what if I fail kind of fear. If you still feel that kind of fear and resistance, go all the way back. You still need to massage that plan a little bit. You need to work on, that means your plan isn't concrete enough for you. Hear me, I said for you. Because a concrete plan that might suffice for someone else, you might need a little bit more concrete on your platform. It's okay to do that. It's okay to put more concrete into what the right next step is for you. And don't be afraid to talk to yourself lovingly if you need to. Sometimes you have to stop and say, now, self, I love you. And I know you are afraid. And rightly so. you have had a bad experience with this before, or this is something new and you are terrified, and it's okay. But if you fall, Angela, I will catch you. I will help you put the pieces back together again. We will pray, we will seek the Lord, and the Lord will mend your broken heart. You can do this. You're strong enough for this. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself like that. Put your hand over your heart, close your eyes. Self, I love you and we can do this. You might have to talk to yourself that way, and it is perfectly okay to do so. What I don't want you to do, and what I caution you against doing, is just swirling in it. And y'all, it happens. It really does happen. Y'all, it happened to me this week. So cold. It was cold. So I posted the video on Monday. Here's the story. I posted the video last Monday. By Tuesday, phones lit up, text messages, called, couple people came by. We talked about it. And I was feeling real good. In my responses, I was. And then God, life, and my job decided to plunge me into my own Black History moment. I mean, my own personal Black History moment. And I swan dived. Y'all, it was an Olympic dive. I swan dived off the platform into the abyss of my own story. Y'all, it was ugly. So here I am. Somebody came by the house. Somebody stopped by the house, and they came by, and I'm singing my old Negro spiritual form. I'm singing, oh, go down, Moses. I mean, I'm all the way in here. So while I'm singing my Negro spiritual, my sister comes in, and I start to sing my Negro spiritual for her. And see, I'm tell you how people do you. She looks at me and says, this over her phone. She says, so what next? What's your next step? She was sitting at my kitchen table. I promise if I had something to throw at her, it'd hit her. I couldn't believe I was in my Negro spiritual. And you gonna throw my words back at me? But the truth is, she was right. I was flat out I was wallowing in the abyss of my story and putting way too much energy in the story. And it's okay. Have a bad day. I had a bad day that day. I had a glass of wine and put myself to bed at 8:30. The kids went to bed at 8:30, and so did I. Lights out, world. We will begin anew tomorrow. Oh, but the next day, can we say Jesus rose? And so did I. Honey, I got up the next day and talked to myself. Now, self, I love you. We have got to take the next step. What's the next step? In your Black History story, what's your step? And with attitude, it wasn't even a beautiful step because I was angry, right? I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. But I started to make a step. And as I made one step, my faith increased. That I could make another step. And that while disappointed and angry, and I can't go any further into the description because these folks on these jobs will see something you posted about these jobs and ask you to leave them before you ready. But as I made one step forward, my faith increased, and then I made another step, and then I made another step. And by the end of the day, I was ready to run a little bit further. So that said, I want to encourage you, no matter where you find yourself in your next step, start working towards taking that concrete step. Let me hear from you this week. If you are still watching this video, again, click subscribe. Thanks for watching, family. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time on Coffee and Conversation with Angela. Let me know how you're doing. Check in with me this week. Much love, everybody. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us all. Take the day, take the week. See you next time.
Taking the day, I am taking the day.